Okay, thank you. Okay, it is, 12:32. We have come out of executive session, back into the open, work session to discuss an item. We had asked, Mr. Woodson to come on. What do we have you on here, Gio?
To the bottom. One up the
For the municipal garage discussion. At our previous meeting, we had, wanted to appoint you, to take over the municipal garage, with, some compensation for that position, and at that point, there was some discussion amongst the board, and they had asked that you, come in, and, we have asked you to come, to take over the municipal garage. But there was a discussion if you would come in and just, present a few of your ideas or something that you feel, about the municipal garage, just share some of your thoughts going into the position, if you were to get it, what you think, that would be.
How would you proceed?
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
I was like, oh.
I think that's where we all left off.
Yeah.
We recognized and we were given a whole bunch of pitfalls and shortcomings at the town garage, which would justify some sort of oversight from from a new person. And that's, we were told what the pitfalls are, but we weren't told how they would be addressed, or what vision you might have as an elected official handling that oversight. That's it.
All right, well, I actually watched the meeting on Channel 22, and first thing is, it would be absurd for me to take county cars or vehicles and put them on our vehicles. That doesn't make any sense. Our vehicles come first.
But what, so if you have a county car that's up on a lift and the engine's taken out or something's taken apart, then you would just put it back on real quick and then move the car out of the bay so that our police car or whatever could get on there?
Well, it's mainly for the bigger vehicles. What I talked to the county commissioner on, it's mainly for the bigger vehicles, but our vehicles come first, we're helping them out. So we have downtime, all our vehicles, we're all caught up. It's a way to make more money.
Do we
have
do a
money
lot, we
coming
don't do a lot of county vehicles now, do we? We don't do any.
No.
No, we don't, but because of the,
And I don't
shared,
know.
because of the, shared services, there is the possibility, and it's just a possibility,
That we may go
that we
there,
could
it's
do
not
that
that
in
we're
the future. It's not
No,
something that we have planned as of this time. And we'd also have to enter into an agreement with them to do that, which we don't currently have. So it's just, it's being a little proactive and to be able to,
Right.
to provide some revenue into the garage to help reduce the cost for the town.
It's still part of a bigger plan, but I certainly, here we don't even have the county vehicles or an agreement with them, and we're worried about whether they're gonna be on the list.
Correct.
I think it's a hypothetical discussion that's, doesn't serve a purpose.
It's, in other words, if we have slow days down there and the county's having trouble getting mechanics, and through the shared services, we could help them out and have some, keep our guys busy and make money for the garage, just thinking outside the box a little bit.
Do we have a lot of downtime?
I'm not in charge of the building now. I don't know anything until I get in there, or if I get in there.
Okay.
Just
I'm
thoughts, of thinking outside the box. You
I get
can't
it.
always
I
stay.
like that.
You can't always stay where, you gotta improve things. I've already looked into a wrecker, as you know, the wrecker we have is probably 1982.
We need a flatbed or a pull, or
I've already looked into that, I found one, the guy's been holding it for 2 months now, I don't know if we still get it, but,
might need a tow truck to tow it out of there.
yeah.
But I think that's also being, once again, being proactive for the equipment that's needed out of the municipal garage. The one that we have now, apparently, when you're towing anybody, it's,
Well, the newer cars now have all plastic, and it
Right.
seems to be a real problem.
The rubber piece
You
on
either
the
need
back.
a lift that you would use like a repo car would have for moving,
Yeah.
or a flatbed.
but this is just kind of what I'm saying. If you don't have somebody in there, the
Well,
supervising
that's new
and
enough, all
seeing
that.
on a daily basis, then you're not addressing these things. You know, they go left unaddressed, really, so.
So what are we doing now to, remove cars? We're just hiring local tow companies in the private industry when there's a car that needs to be towed because our wrecker can't do it?
No, we do it.
Once
We just-
again, they still do
We
it,
just
but,
break the bumper.
They break
yeah,
it.
you break the bumper, the bumper's all
Sorry.
plastic.
We do.
Just think, like I said, just this is stuff I've, just
Okay.
things I've written down and that I noticed. I'm not inside the building, as of yet, or if I decide to
Maybe
do it.
can we let Gio get through the
Yeah.
list first,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
maybe have discussion, so I
Oh,
wanna hear.
I like interruptions.
Stop interrupting.
As far as the workers, the oversight of the workers, being there on time, I'm right around the corner, so I'm there every day, so I can stop in 2 or 3 times a day as needed. I like to try to do a quarterly, inventory for the place down there. I think they do it every 6 months or once a year, whatever, you know, I think quarterly, also talked with Lori. She has a new computer program that you can keep better track of the, inventory down there. Like I said, daily oversight, keeping the guys busy. If they're slow, like I said, maybe we can implement, the county, help them out a little bit, and make some money for the place. I stopped over there the other day, there's some issues, I heard that, we have some money for the new, new pumps.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Reached, the beginning of the year, we had that money, and have anybody moved on it yet?
Not yet.
No.
The beginning of this year, we had the money, we budgeted for it
Yeah.
for this
Right.
year, yeah.
But as of now, nothing's
Nothing's been
even
done
been
with it?
started on it. Maybe that'll help out, I'm sure it'll help out, with the issues you got with the gas. The Mike Curtis, excellent mechanic, he works his butt off down there. He doesn't, he has to have DEC, classes, that he gets paid for. He does a lot down there. The cameras down there, I can tap into the cameras down there through my camera system at the highway yards. You got a lot of vehicles down there, the cameras that you have down there they are what they are. As far as interference with the highway department, it doesn't interfere with my jobs over there, daily oversight. You go over there, you find out what the issues are and get them rectified. You stop it and make sure everybody's doing their work. A work list, like I have at the highway department, these are your jobs for the day, you know, to keep everybody busy. The impound yard, the same vehicle's been in there for 10, 15 years. Why are we holding on to these vehicles? I don't know. You gotta trust your employees, down there, you know, that's another thing. I could probably, I go on, I deal with the military equipment. There's a lot of, vehicles in other states you can get. If you're looking for vehicles for the assessor's office, different departments, I mean, you can go to, send a truck to Virginia or have it trucked up, and you can buy these vehicles like $5 grand, and they're in pretty decent shape, you know, or, other towns actually take vehicles that from impound and put them into their system.
Well, you got those ones that have been there 15 years.
Yeah, I mean,
We've done that for a couple of police cars and whatnot, we've done it.
The other thing I noticed, the county, like I said, I'm looking in from the outside, but we give the county gives us money for certain vehicles and they take them. Does anybody know what they take them and auction them off? Why can't we just keep the vehicles and auction them off ourselves, keep the money here? I don't know whether anybody's ever looked into that.
Well, there's a lot of history, obviously, you're not aware of, so.
Yeah, so I don't know, I'm just looking
I
at it
used
from
to
the
run all the
outside.
auctions.
Yeah.
I know all about the auctions, and I know why we sort of went away from that was because, time and effort and personnel, it was almost a wash. It wasn't, it really wasn't, again, although we make 30,000 at an auction, it costs us 35,000 in manpower and everything else to get done. So they started bidding out cars to RFP for people to take scrap cars, and pay us so much per car. It just seemed to be more money for us at that point. As far as what they're doing, as far as now with, Bruce says he has oversight somewhat a little bit, but I don't know why, all those impounded, I walked through there 2 weeks ago myself, and there was a car from 2008 still back there, that was all burnt up, so I was like,
Yeah, why are we,
I'm surprised the DEC to make us move it, because it's sitting over on
I
ground.
think that's part of the oversight.
yeah.
I don't know why it's there, I thought the police had a lot to do with that, and why they're not on top of that is beyond me.
maybe there's an ongoing investigation and there's no room for it in the,
Yeah, but everybody everybody was part of the investigation are probably dead now, so.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I think it's
The number
good-
of years some of those have been there, they've been there for an awful long time.
I think that's why you need somebody there supervising it, so these questions could get answered in a comprehensive manner. I think one of the other issues, and I don't think I had brought it up, is fleet management, because we do have a lot of cars in town here. I know when since I've come on, it's very hard to get a comprehensive list of all the cars we have, all the mileages that are on the cars, and a projection out for the next couple of years.
Well,
of
town
what-
garage should have that, every time there's maintenance done on them.
Well, they have a list of the cars, but not of exactly who's using them in the fleet, what ones are going to need to be done in this year's budget, the following year's budget. You know, since I've been here, we've had 2 cars, we have the fire marshal's cars that has rust in it,
Yeah, well, I'm not
and
so sure
water,
that that would be a.
water coming through it. We had the engineering and buildings and grounds car that went out. And how do we have 2 cars that when we just have gone through a budget cycle, that haven't been accounted for? So that's a problem moving forward that we don't
Well, it comes from the
enforce.
department, don't you think?
what do you mean they haven't been accounted for, as far as inventory?
As
Having the
far,
cars
as
in
far as
inventory?
the need that, yeah.
You mean
Knowing that-
projecting?
We
It
have a
was
fleet
shot.
management system that we bought with the Edmund system that we're just rolling out now. So there is a fleet management that will answer all those questions and project like what the mileage is, and you could do it on a quarterly basis, on
Well, I
a,
would expect either, whether it's Geo or Mike or whoever, oversight going to, let's say to Mark Conklin, say, Mark, I'm gonna let you know, we just changed the oil on truck number 74. It's up to 160,000 miles, we're noticing some rust there, so you better budget in for a new truck next year.
but the
But
fleet
obviously
management
that hasn't
system
been
will
being
track
done
when the
because we have
last,
2
I-
vehicles, just in the past, in 2 months that I'm here, we've had 2 vehicles that should have been addressed a while ago. As I said, B&G and engineering just had to buy a truck, and then we also know the fire marshal's truck is rusted out on the bottom, and there's water
Well,
coming
in
through.
all fairness, I can't make that statement, because you don't know what might have been said and might have been poo-pooed in that office before you got here, so, they may have.
But I still can't get, since coming in, I haven't been able to get a comprehensive list of all of the vehicles that we have, and over projection over the next 3 years, what we're going to need to do as
Oh,
far as
no,
vehicles
I
to
get it. No,
prioritize
that's
for
not a
this
bad idea.
upcoming budget,
Right.
what it is that we'd have to replace and how to
Right.
prioritize that, because obviously you can't
That's
replace
important, I
a
get it.
whole fleet at once, and you wanna rotate them through, so that not everything is done at
Right.
once, so.
and I'm looking at the
That's
chief
good planning.
financial officer because we are tracking that now, so I don't know why you can't get a list, number 1, and number 2, with the new system, we do have fleet management, that you'll just click on the car and it'll give you all the history as to the last oil change and the mileage and.
But I'm not talking about the last oil change, I'm talking about a projection going into the future about the number of cars. I mean, Bill, do you know the number of cars we have?
But it's in, but we have it in the paper,
How many miles they have, and, I know that the chief is more top, because he does regularly rotate them. Some of the departments that ask for cars, yes, they ask for cars, and you gotta get another 20,000 miles out of it, to be honest with money. That's what's happened in the past, I think why we're in the position that we are now.
Right.
But we
But
have,
we-
we have, vehicles, like I said, on the government website, they have plenty of vehicles you can get, 5-6 grand, maybe 50,000 miles, and they're in decent shape.
Any Grand Marquis?
If you don't, I think so,
That would be with your name on it, right?
they have all these cars down there, like I said, you can get a shipping company, probably buy 6 or 7 cars for like $35,000 and have them, storage or keep them for whoever needs them, or actually need them, Just-
Maybe that saves money in the long run, because.
Oh, it definitely does,
you don't
you don't have to buy it new,
Right.
you can buy it.
Well, the only
a lot of
problem
these
with
cars
that,
out
and,
there.
and I'll throw it out there, the only problem with that, right now, historically, they take police cars, and as they wind down their life as law enforcement, they move into into other departments within the town, because we own the vehicle. The only positive to that is that you're dealing with really almost a one-source part inventory. You start buying different vehicles, and then you're gonna wind up, well, you better have some Chevy parts, you better have some Toyota's parts, and Nissan parts, I mean, so
No, these would all be, standard vehicles,
I'm just saying, but that might have been some of the thinking when it came to recycling cars that we have.
And it's my understanding from the chief that we've exhausted that to the point now where the cars, the police vehicles, when they're done, they're shot. It's not that they can be reused
Well,
for
now we're
something
going
else.
to the bigger
So-
SUVs, we're not buying cars anymore, so that, I'm saying, in the past, that was always, now we're buying,
And that's why we budgeted $275,000 this year for the police cars. Because we realized that there's cars that need to go out. I mean, I saw a police car the other day at the parade that had 111,000 miles on it, and it had
That's not
rust
much.
on it. But that could go another 40,000 miles, and like Jim said, the parts are on the shelf. So I appreciate what Geo does as far as going out to auctions and, you know, finding great deals for the town when it comes to the highway department and the cars, and I appreciate everything you do, don't get me wrong. But if you decide that you're not gonna run for office again in 3.5 years or whatever it is, does somebody else, well, he's told me he's not running again,
No,
so
he
I can
lied.
say that. But if you decide not to, how do we train somebody else to go to these auctions and buy the cars and like continue what you've been doing?
Well, I just like it, this resolution is till December 31st is what this would pertain to. And I think that the onus for something like that is on the town board for succession planning. If you have a position that,
You go, girl.
so, you know, I mean, I think that's our responsibility, that's not something for Geo to have to, contend with. We're asking him to go in to do a job in the municipal garage, we're asking him to do that job till the 31st of December, at which time it's up to the board to decide to proceed through with that or not. And so all is in question right now is till the 31st, I think.
I think as far as,
You know,
oversight goes, just to parallel what you're saying, it's not so much hands-on, you know, changing a tire or changing oil, not that you couldn't, but it's about putting policies and procedures in place that should be sustaining and should be somewhat straighten out some of the pitfalls. I think the clerical staff we have there now is a start, whether that's the permanent one or whatever, but I always thought that was the missing link down there. But yeah, I get what you're saying, but you're right, it is a year-to-year thing, because that's just what the state law allows it to be, when it comes to, I think, unless there's a curveball I don't see that somebody's trying to slide past me, but,
Councilman Wooten for one.
And I also think we have to realize, I mean, one of the other issues that needs to get straightened out is in the audit was this question of the gas tanks not, you know, not lining up, and since January, we're already missing 200 gallons.
yeah, right, and I'm not so sure that's a theft, I think that's more of a.
Oh, I'm not saying that it's a theft, we don't know.
It could be, but
But that's, you know, it's a very, very serious
right,
thing
and
that we
that's,
need to come
and
to
that has to be
some sort of
addressed, and that's not, right, that has to be
Yes.
addressed through, I think, software and technology.
Right, and we budgeted for the pumps, because it was a very expensive cost to replace the pumps. So it's in the budget this
But
year,
it's-
so we need to replace the pumps, so somebody's gotta pull the trigger.
Well, that's why I think it's very important to have a supervisor there to be able to move the projects forward for the municipal garage.
Was that your whole list? Did you go down all your bullet points?
No.
I think you only got to number 12,
got
I see
everything.
17 there,
I got a couple that,
18 there.
better organization. I have a policy list for the highway department. What time you're supposed to be to work, what general policies, which you,
Well, they have a time clock at the time clock, right?
yeah. But, they don't have one at municipal.
That's, I mean, in this regard, they do have a time clock.
They don't.
Or maybe when they set the alarm off, or shut the alarm off, or something.
But, like I said, the camera system, you can just add that on to, and then that's another way of,
We should have a camera system, I'll give you that.
You're saying you would be able to watch by camera?
yeah. Along with the GPS, in my office right now, the screen, I know where all my trucks are at any time, and then I have it on my computer. And then I have my cameras over there, which, in this day and time, if you don't have GPS and cameras, you're way behind the eight ball, the way things are. And it's just something we could probably adapt onto my system, and maybe buy 6 cameras and put them over at municipal, on the pumps, on the doors, and on the vehicles that've been there for all these years.
I wish somebody would come and steal the vehicles, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
Do me a
you know,
favor.
it just,
No, I'm only
there's
kidding.
gotta be a way for us to make money and get rid of those vehicles that, they just been there so long, and why are we holding them, and just thinking outside the box. I don't have the answers to everything, but I'm willing to work it out and try to make the place positive and get some issues addressed. That's about all I can do. I'm not inside there yet. I'm just, and this list I made up just from the outside and just talking to Mike on a couple of things. But, you know.
So you really can't put a game plan together until you do an
Until
assessment?
you get there, and you're in there and you see, I mean, this is just what I came up with, I'm sure there's some other things, you go to and take care of also. But our vehicles come first, and like I said, the county
Ours
takes
mean,
a share.
highway?
No, well, it depends. If it's a snowstorm, our vehicles come first, 'cause nobody's gonna move anywhere.
Well,
you know?
I think the chief did have a concern at first when he heard about it, because he was worried about whether there'd be a downtime for police. cars.
Absolutely, and that's where my question came from.
But I
Well,
can't see that happening.
Our vehicles come first, the police.
I mean, the bulk of the
highway
budget for the
department,
town garage is the
during a
police department.
snowstorm, those are your two most important people. I mean, the police can't go anywhere if the plows don't come out. So, at certain times of
Yeah,
the
but
day.
still, I think the funding of the municipal garage probably, probably 70% is mostly PD money, I would think. That pays that garage. I bet you.
Maybe, I don't know, I'd like to look and see what we owe on it and go from there. Like I said, try to make the place some money.
More efficient,
instead-
yeah. Well,
Plant some bushes, make it look pretty.
No bushes.
we will,
It
if-
require maintenance.
if it's okay with the board, if there's no more questions, we will put the resolution into the packet, and then we can vote on it on Tuesday.
I just, I have one more question for Emery, because I did ask her if it could be done in a stipend, and I believe the answer is yes, it can be done in a stipend.
No, I gave you the.
Anne Marie, if you need to come up here, 'cause
So you're telling me that we cannot give the highway superintendent a stipend?
I feel like I'm having
Yes
a
or
deja
no?
vu.
It's just a yes or a no answer.
No.
just answer yes or no, Anne Marie.
No, under the law, and I gave you Court of Appeals case, highest case, state of New York. If you're going to give him any additional compensation over that which was published in the preliminary budget, legally, you must adopt a local law. It shall expire December
Yeah.
31st. And you must identify what the additional compensation is.
Okay, so then, so this year, we could give him the additional money as an increased salary, but if we publish it for next year, we could give it to him as a stipend?
Correct,
Okay,
absolutely. And in addition, and, you know, just for the record, I did respond after, last work session, and even on the issue of Laverne. Correct?
No, I got it.
Good.
Laverne is the
Okay.
commissioner, but Tim as an elected official can get a stipend, and it's
Well,
well worth
Laverne's
it. I don't
salary
wanna,
is
like,
not
say-
required to be published in the
Tim knows.
preliminary budget.
I think we're getting a bargain deal.
And thank you, Anne
All
Marie.
right.
Thank you.
Anne Marie,
Anne
I know
Marie.
you.
By the way, you know, I have your answer memorized, is that the fourth time.
And thank you, Anne Marie,
You don't
because
have
I
to
gotta
do it
tell you,
again.
those glasses are stunning, just to let you know.
Dollar on Amazon.
Let's not go over this again.
All right, Anne Marie, thank you very
Great,
much.
thanks.
We had gone into, executive session
you.
for, the matter leading to the possible appointment of a committee member. There was a question whether we could discuss that in, executive session or not. We did consult with, our attorney, and do you wanna address that one also, or?
Yeah.
Just sit for one more second, I'm sorry.
Right, I'm done.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Gio.
thank you.
Sorry.
Thanks, Gio.
I obviously always prefer to,
And drop your cake.
sorry, my nose is running, research first, but, of the first impression, opinion, that it is not, quote, tantamount to a personnel matter. So therefore, I think it's preferable to do it in an open session. But again, I haven't researched it,
Yeah.
but
I sent an
Off the
email to
cuff.
to Mr. Freeman, so.
Err
Okay.
on the side
Okay.
of caution.
So we are erring on the side of caution, so
Yes,
thank you
correct.
very much.
Thank you, Anne Marie.
So the discussion was about IDA applicants. We had 9 people that interviewed for the IDA. Tim and I, what was that?
7,
I'm
right?
sorry, seven. Two had withdrawn. We had 9 people apply, 2 had withdrawn.
Should've been, I was hoping to get
Oh,
them.
yeah.
And so it is the recommendation of the interview committee to, put up Larry Sims for the, appointment to the IDA board.
Was anybody from the IDA the chairman, cause I know the chairman usually sits in on the interviews, was he in on any of these interviews?
No, and the chairman for the planning and zoning boards have not sat in on the interviews either.
I know,
when
but
they've done planning and zoning.
But the IDA is not a town agency, it's an outside agency. The planning board and the zoning board are town agencies, and they do receive a paycheck from the town, where the IDA board does not.
The chairman, sir.
I'm just saying that it's paid for by the IDA, not the town. So, I just am confused, that's all, because I thought that the chairman was gonna be sitting in on the interviews as he has in the past.
Okay, no, we did not.
Okay.
Well, I think that Larry is very bright, works hard, I mean, not that the other candidates weren't, and we know that he does a lot of research on the IDA, and the IDA, some people in the town have had concerns about the IDA, so I think it's a good match.
All right, so we'll put it in the packet for Tuesday, and we can vote on that on Tuesday.
Well, just in contrast to you, because I certainly don't wanna not have my say, I think that a lot of the misnomers and the stuff out there for people's concerns about the IDA, a lot of it is unfounded, if they really research what the IDA is all about. And if they would go back to January, February, which was, I think, after the fact, but when they had that nice presentation about the IDA and what, really generally, what it's for and how it's supposed to promote community growth, I think a lot of those concerns are just bullet points, really, I really do, but that's not to say whether Larry's qualified or not qualified,
I agree with you, Jim, but I think that's up to the IDA to take that dog and pony show on the road and
I agree.
inform people.
I asked them where the hell were they back in
Because
June,
I did
July.
think the presentation they did here was very good.
Was
It was informative to me, but I think that exactly what you said, the general public perceives it as something a good bit different.
Right, they equate it to your personal property taxes going
Right.
up because somebody got a break in.
Which
That's just not the
is
case.
inaccurate.
And they also think that we as a town board
Make those decisions.
make those decisions for
Right.
the IDA, and it's completely wrong and incorrect. And that's one of the reasons
I don't think we
I
get
feel we did the interview without somebody from the IDA, because it's really the only input that the board really has for the IDA, is to choose who they're going to place on the board. Same with the planning board and the zoning board. And you kind of want it to be
You
a
want
flavor
people
of
that think
your
the way you
board.
do and have the same idea
Right,
you do.
correct.
I get it.
Well,
Correct.
I get it.
I
I'm not
just
sure this
think,
gentleman represents me, but I understand what you're saying.
Right.
I just thought it would have been prudent, not having any experience in serving on an IDA board and to evaluate the numbers and evaluate the applications, to have somebody there to question what the ability of the applicants were in being able to evaluate those applications that are coming in. So, that's all. That's why I thought it would have been prudent to have the chairman there, as has been done in the past.
Well,
And I think,
and I agree with you on that part, but on the other part, there are representatives, not theirs.
and one of the other things I did, just address for the IDA, for how to help the public understand the IDA, we're going to now start televising the IDA meetings also.
Oh,
Oh, great.
another, see, all those sleepless nights, you got plenty of TV to help you sleep.
No,
All
I
right.
do, I
Another
think we
reason
have
not
good
to have
people on the
cable.
That's a
IDA.
great
I thought-
idea.
I thought their presentation that they did to us that time
Was
was really
informative.
good, I agree with you, Tim, so hopefully everyone will work well together, and thank you guys for
Well,
interviewing today.
that's yet to be seen, we'll see.
All right, so a first
No
and a
fist
second.
fights out in the hall, I can tell you that. Won't
First
stand
and a
for it.
second to close the meeting?
Goodbye. So
I move that we close the meeting.
All in favor?
So much for a
Opposed?
5-hour work
All right.
session.
I know, you
1
scared
o'clock.
me yesterday, I got breakfast then.
All right, you did what I told you, you did